G'day and welcome to the NRL Round 21 preview. And yep, I'm back in Australia, and that brings us exactly to what this week's ladder is about. This week's ladder is brought to you by, look, I've started a GoFundMe page. I want a Thailand happy ending. And by happy ending, I don't mean what you lot are thinking, very naughty. I just want to go back to Thailand. Some warm weather. I've arrived in Canberra and it's bloody freezing. It was freezing when I left, it's still freezing. The Raiders are playing the Roosters on Sunday and they're potentially predicting snow. So anyway, quick look at the ladder. The Storm out in front. Now, 3 teams, Sharks, Tigers and Panthers all on 20. Broncos breathing down their neck. And I'm going to put a line through everyone below the Knights. I don't think the Warriors can make it. So, to me, it's the Knights up. And if you look at Manly, watch out, because the Bunnies are sliding a bit and Manly are breathing heavier than me on my first date. I took a chick to, I thought, a romantic movie, Saving Private Ryan. Yeah, I don't know why we split up, but anyway, that's life. Anyway, let's move on. Enough about me. Thursday night, we start with the Queensland Derby, the big one, the Cowboys and the Broncos. Well, I say big one, normally it is. All 3 Queensland teams outside the 8. That's unheard of, but it's happening this year and they may all miss the finals. And that is why the Broncos are going to go in as favourites, because they're 1 point out of the 8, as you saw, and they must win. I'm looking forward to Tavita Pangai Jr. versus Jason Taumalolo Part 2. If you remember early in the season, the Cowboys had started the season well, and Pangai Jr. just made it his mission to pound Taumalolo into the Suncorp turf. He did that, and he'll be looking to do it again. The only chance I can see the Cowboys causing an upset is through Michael Morgan and Jake Clifford's kicking game off the back of a big forward battle. But I think the Broncos, with Payne Haas and Matt Lodge up front and Tavita Pangai Jr. wreaking havoc, they'll give Anthony Milford at fullback some ball to play with. And my little mate here, this is what the Cowboys will be doing after this week. They'll be preparing their end-of-season holiday. Broncos by 4. Okay, Friday night. The Warriors are over in New Zealand. Manly are travelling. The Seagulls are taking on the Warriors. Now, the Warriors are on 17 points. They're 3 points out of the 8. Manly have got the wood over them, something shocking. And to be honest, I can't see the Warriors getting away with this. I think their season's hanging by a thread. Stephen Kearney was seen kicking towels at half-time. Well, I think the Warriors players have thrown it in. They were woeful last week against the Raiders. Look, you'll see an improved effort from them this week, but I just can't see that they can turn it around that much in 1 week. Manly got the wood on them, as I said, and I think they're going to take a 4v2 with the Travojevic brothers' names on it and go whack the Warriors. Manly be too good. I'm looking forward to RTS versus Tommy Turbo. That's my interest in this game. That's NRL porn. 2 fantastic fullbacks, and I think Tommy T will get the chocolates in that one and Manly will get the win. Manly by 12. I think they'll do a job on them. Now, the Friday night game is a huge game. Panthers versus Sharks. Both teams on 20 points. The Panthers are out of the 8 on for and against, and that is the key to the Panthers season. They are minus 69. So if they're going to make the 8, they're going to have to probably finish 2 points clear of the team in 9th because their for and against is so poor. They've got 5 games to turn it around. Bad news for the Panthers. James Maloney took on the judiciary last night on his tripping charge and lost. He's out. But the good news, Billy Kickout's back. The big fella's back, and boy do they need him. Because the last 2 games, the Panthers have lost, but also they've had enough ball inside the 20 to win 3 games. They should have won both games easily. And that comes back to, I think, Nathan Cleary. He's a solid player. He knows how to get the ball into the end goal to get a repeat set, but he's not creative enough inside that quarter. He's an origin half. He's not creating enough. Basically, the Panthers just go, let's just throw it to Billy Kickout and see what he can do. And that's going to be their chance today. Now, he's up against Britton Nakora. The Sharks are on fire. They belted the Bunnies in the Shire last week. Johnson and Nakora. Sean Johnson is back to near his best. He's really improved the last couple of weeks, and his combination with Britton Nakora is sensational. The Sharks have got points everywhere. Josh Dugan's back at fullback. Matt Moylan has succumbed to that high tackle from Sam Burgess, and he won't play, so that's interesting. Sam Burgess, he rolled the dice at the judiciary and he won. So Sam Burgess got his charge downgraded. So he's playing this week, but Matt Moylan's out. So Josh Dugan's at fullback. The Panthers, I think, at home, they're not going to be good enough. They really need to win, but I actually think that the Sharks will get them. Sharks by 8. Now, Saturday, Super Saturday, 3 o'clock. There's 3 Englishmen involved. Callum Watkins for the Titans. Now, they got absolutely hammered last week, and he'll need to improve, as will the Titans. Justin Holbrook, boy, you've got a challenge on your hands, mate. The only thing on the line in this game is pride. And for the Titans, they're just trying to get a win, and they'll need 2 wins at least out of their last 5 to avoid the wooden spoon. Good luck. That's all I can say. And Justin Holbrook, really good luck. Now for the Dragons, Gareth Widdop's in at 5'8", and James Graham is playing his 400th first grade game. Now, we thought it was last week, but apparently the Dragons aren't counting a World Club Challenge game he played for St Helens. So, James Graham, 400 games in the Super League and NRL. That is an amazing effort, especially in the engine room. He's been sensational his last 2 games back. Now, I just think the Titans have been really bad. I think the Dragons will be too strong. With Gareth Widdop running the show, I think the Dragons will win by 10. Now, the 5:30 game's huge. Eels versus Knights, 6th versus 11th. Now, the Knights have lost 5 on the bounce, and you don't want to be coming up against Parramatta at Bankwest. Bankwest is a banker for the Eels. They've only lost 1 game at home this season, and I think they just seem to get inspired by being at home. They're a different team. The forwards grow an extra leg. Mitchell Moses parts defences like his long lost relative out in the desert parted seas. I'm assuming they're related. Last name, gotta be. And Maker Sivo on the wing, well, his massive legs turn into huge tree trunks. He's unstoppable at Bankwest. For the Knights to win, their forwards have to get on top of the Eels. David Clemmer and Daniel Saifidi and co must get on top to give the out of form Mitchell Pearce something to play off. Pearce has been flat since Origin. He really needs to lift now. Kalen Ponga can't do it all at fullback, but he may have to. Eels by 10. Now, Saturday night, Bulldogs Tigers at ANZ Stadium. The Bulldogs have run into some form. They were fantastic last week. You know they give it everything each week. But the Tigers, to be honest, if they're going to make the 8, they have to win games like this. I think the Tigers, with Benji Marshall and Robbie Farah pulling the strings, Luke Brooks running. Please run, Luke. You got a great running game. Giffes and Masters, lots of ball in the centres. And actually the centres, I think, are where the Tigers can get the Bulldogs. With Moses Mbai and Esson Masters, I think they've got a little bit too much class for the Bulldogs. This will be tight though. The Bulldogs are playing good footy, but the Tigers must win and will win. Tigers by 4. Now let's turn our attention to Super Sunday. The top 4 teams are all playing each other. And we're starting with 3 versus 2. Raiders versus Roosters at GIO. And I've got good news. All 4 Englishmen for the Raiders are playing. Ryan Sutton's back from his calf injury. He's on the bench. So you got Elliot Whitehead, the brilliant John Bateman, and the sensational Josh Hodgson all on deck. Hodgson is one of the keys to this game. He ran for over 100 metres last week. When you see Josh Hodgson bursting out of dummy half with his scoots, ball playing, kicking, grubbering, having the defences in 2 minds, you know he's got full confidence back in that knee that he's returned from this year. He is playing good footy, and when he's at his best, the Raiders are a top 2 side, so look out. Now, John Bateman, here's some interesting news for you. The Daily Telegraph, one of the Sydney newspapers here, had a poll this week, and he was named the best second rower in the NRL. That's how good he's going, and that's what the Australian people think of John Bateman. He's thriving in the NRL like I thought he would, and he's killing it, and he's earned such respect. And they are 2 of the keys. Now, another key for the Raiders is the ruck. The Roosters in James Tedesco have the best player on the planet at the moment. He absolutely tore the Titans to shreds last week. He is playing football from another planet at the moment. Now, the Raiders' defence in the ruck has to be spot on. That's where people like Ryan Sutton, when he comes on, Joseph Tarpany, and Josh Papali, who's been one of the Raiders' best this year, they must plug up that ruck. If James Tedesco runs riot, off the back of him, Luke Keary, Latrell Mitchell and co will run riot. Now, no Ryan Hall. Brett Morris scored a hat-trick last week, so poor Ryan Hall's injury has given Brett Morris the opportunity, and boy has he taken it. Now, the Raiders have a great record against the Roosters at GIO. The Roosters haven't won since 2010. And with Aiden Caesar, he can smell George Williams coming. His game management has gone up a notch. And Aiden Caesar's kicking game with Jack Whiten is the key. I think the Raiders can get this at home. Raiders by 2 in a tight one. Now, we finish with an absolute beauty. It's the #1 ranked team, the Storm, visiting the 4th placed Bunnies at Central Coast Stadium. The Bunnies are taking this up to Gosford. Now, Souths are on a slippery slope. And when you're out of form, you do not want to take on the Melbourne Storm. But Sam Burgess, as I said, has beaten the judiciary. He's playing. Him and Thomas need some fast play the balls, because I think the key for Souths to win this game is Damien Cook ripping through the ruck. If he can get a roll on and set up Cody Walker, and Adam Reynolds' kicking game has to be on point for Souths to get this. The Storm showed last week. They bounced back from their narrow defeat to Manly by absolutely battering the Broncos. Cameron Munster was sensational. Pappenhausen, Jerome Hughes, off the back of the forwards, with Cameron Smith just being the master puppeteer. The Storm are looking sensational, and I think the Storm, even though I'm expecting an improved performance from the Bunnies, I think the Storm are going too good. Storm to win by 7. So my tips this week are Broncos, Sea Eagles, Sharks, Dragons, Eels, Tigers, Raiders, and the Storm. Enjoy your tipping for round 21, and I'll see you next week. Please get me to Thailand. Go fund me.